They've won 7 of the last 9. That's the good news for Michigan State. But, man, barely beating Minnesota at home. Like, where do you stand with this team? Again, we just talked about FAU, and I'm like, Michigan State, I have no feel. We're mid to late January, and I really don't have a great feel for this Spartans team. Do you?
No, but I mean, when you lose, they were developing Jeremy Fears, and he gets shot over the break, right? That changes you dramatically. I also think like one of the good stories in the Big Ten is that Minnesota's been way more competitive than we thought they would be. Like,
Yes.
let's be fair there, right? They beat Michigan on the road. Not that Michigan's good, but they have road wins in the league. And like, look, the issue with Michigan State is very, very simple. I can't think of another team. I'd have to look that won a game last night making 3 threes. No, I'm serious. Like BYU will take 45 in a game. They're taking 12. It's just a math. It's just a math equation there.
He said it, right? Like a couple of weeks ago, what happened post game? He was basically like, listen, metrics, schmetrics. Like, I don't care about it. And they take a ton of what we would consider right now bad twos.
Tough twos. Yeah.
Tough twos. And that's generally not the way you're going to win these days in any level of basketball. So, to me, again, I don't think Michigan State is a team that, like, what we had at the beginning of the year. The preseason top 5, I'm like, they bring everything back. They got Tom Izzo coaching them. They got good guards. None of these guys, not named Tyson Walker, have even been close to what we thought they might be this year, whether it's A.J. Hogarth, whether it's Jaden Akins. Obviously, we knew their big men weren't going to be great this year, but serviceable. Their freshman class hasn't given them much. Again, you said Jeremy Fears was kind of the prize of that class in terms of making an impact this year, and he's on the mend, hopefully getting better after being shot. Cohen Carr's not there, and the young kid Booker's not ready. We know that.
Yeah. I mean, and Holloman came off and hit a 3. I mean, really, Akins, I think he was 0 for 5 from 3 last night, and that's why I thought they would play Garrett Norman this year. He's a wing shooter, really good athlete, but they just. Again, like, what's wrong with Michigan State? Everybody else is playing a different math than they're playing. And and look, the other part that happens when you don't – and look, I'm going to side with Tom Izzo because what he meant in that cut about analytics is not that he doesn't value him, but he was talking about just the game against Northwestern where he felt Northwestern punched him in the mouth and they were just tougher than his team. And you can't – there's no quantification in terms of analytics. But when you don't even look at the 3, when you're not shooting in the mid-20s in terms of volume at 30 from 3, okay, and the way they play in the Big Ten where everybody is loading up in the paint, now you're not getting – because analytics basketball is not just about shooting 3s, it's about getting to the rim. You want to shoot layups, free throws, and 3s, right? That's what you want. Yeah. And you can't get layups because there's not the space there. And, Manny Sissoko is, it's like you need his size and shot blocking, but you also need the fact that he's the one guy who can roll the rim and finish. But he can be frustrating. He's thin, right? There's a lot of things he doesn't do. When you don't have him in, now you have no one to roll to the rim. So you have a bunch of mid-range guys. But, I mean, like, look, the issue is pretty simple there. This is a team that knows they're not a great shooting team, plays to their strengths, but that's not the way you play in 2024. I think it's a very, very limiting way, and it's going to cause you at times to get beat by inferior teams because they're just playing the math game.